Hey, this is Kevin. I am putting up another movie video that I made of my army of Tamerlane, or Timurid, or Timur, however you want to pronounce it. It's kind of a late medieval army, very, very powerful. It basically, its base in Samarkand really took over most of the Middle East of what we know today. And butted up against the Ottoman Empire, but it was huge. So it was kind of Tamerlane really envisioned himself as being the great restorer of Genghis Khan Mongol Empire, but he was Muslim, and he founded what I would call the Timurid dynasty. He was of Mongol lineage himself. He was a warlord. Just a powerhouse. Under his rule, probably about 17 million people had perished. He was brutal in his conquering. He wasn't very gracious. And, he conquered and sacked basically, Aleppo and Damascus, fought a lot of the other Muslim cultures. I think he beat the Ottomans at the Battle of Ankara in 1402. And then, of course, the Ottoman Empire plunged into civil war after that. But the Timurids, basically, they declined rapidly after his death because it was their culture to split the empire up amongst his sons and grandsons. But his army basically was really a conscription of troops from settled populations, subjugated other nomadic tribes, had, Mamluks and Gilmans and heavy cavalry, elephants, and pretty I would say a mixed bag, but a really mobile, potent force, one to be reckoned with. So, hey, let's take a look at what I've painted and built, and let's get into it. Hello, here's Kevin. I've went ahead and put out I assembled a Timurid army for one of my fellow YouTube friends that was building his Timurid army, and I thought I might as well pull out what I thought could be a Timurid army, and I'm doing this for him, for Sam. And there is a mixture of figures in here, from Essex, from Blue Moon, from Museum Miniatures, which I think has a fantastic looking kind of a pseudo-Mongol Persian cavalry. I mean, that's it right there. I think they turned out beautiful. I have some very interesting step figures from Battle Valor games. That's these right here. And I still think, in some cases, the Essex figures, these here, they mix in very well with museum, and they look great. The elephants are from Essex, but I built these howdahs out of cardboard and other pieces, and well, I think they look pretty good and they're pretty sturdy. Then there's some other figures that I really don't even know where they came from, but I always liked, this slave front that they would put in front of the line to take the bow fire, and that was pretty cruel, but life is cruel. There's Timurid, so it's a mixture of different manufacturers. I think there's some Forged in Battle in there. And so they all work really well together, to be honest. These are some old Essex and some museum kind of mixed in there. That's the heavy cavalry. And there's some Georgians and some steppe and Avars. A little bit of each, so kind of different peoples that kind of made up this whole army. But it has an awesome punch if you're to play with it, because of the the cavalry, the heavy cavalry with bow and I guess you would kind of hold those in reserve, send out your elephants, your light cavalry, and then you have your super heavy cavalry, a couple of units of those. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful army. It's a smaller one, which is okay with me, to be honest. But I hope that you liked it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Everybody asks me what I mount these on, and this is an 80 millimeter frontage by 60 depth for cavalry, and the infantry is on a 40 millimeter depth, 80 millimeter frontage. And I liked it because this could be a unit, or that could be a unit. I can scale it. And I like that. I could say that's a tiny unit, or that's a large unit, or that's a regular unit. So I have a lot of flexibility. I like that. And I like it because the stands are big enough that I can just grab and move around versus people always grabbing figures. And it never made sense to me, right, that if you had a cavalry unit like this and it was based out of 4 stands, well, in most rules, depth doesn't really apply. It's the frontage. And so everybody's, moving 4 stands forward, and the amount of breakage that could happen is pretty high. And so I just liked, this was the impetus idea, right? You just mount everything on one stand. So I like that, but that's how I've done things, and all my armies are that way. But yeah, I think they turned out, pretty reasonable. Anyway, hope you like it.